Okay,
I'm Josh.
I'm Banks. We are Odd Places on the
Edge of.
cliff.
There you go.
Cliff.
We'll take it. Edge of
Josh,
cliff.
Josh,
Who's
so
cliff?
you feel that we're going into vigilantism in our country?
Yes.
Okay, and we discussed it in the last episode of the two jury settlements decisions that were made. Okay, let's start with why. Why do you think we're going to vigilantism? We see two media spectacles on media attention on these two. So why is it that we are going to vigilantism?
Why? That's a big question.
Okay, I mean, all right. Okay.
Why?
Why? Are we mad at each other? We want to fight each other? We hate each other? We're not getting along with each other? We're at a precipice where we're COVID, sick. We're politically sick. We're divided. I'm just throwing out stuff. I don't know.
Yeah. It almost feels Civil Warish, where we have two factions of people, or one faction of people in particular, that don't like the way the country's going. They don't like that the country's becoming less white, more diverse. They don't like that the government is doing things for the majority of the people. Because they think it's socialism or whatever they want to call it. I just think they dislike where the country's going so much that they're revolting. It's kind of like a revolt.
A status quo revolt. They're revolting against
against change.
Against change. So it's a status quo which is revolting against the dynamics, the changing. All right. So
they're losing power.
Do you see it more as a white and black? Do you see it more as a race?
White people are losing power.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. They
through the vote, they're losing power in business. They're losing power in entertainment. Every facet, they're losing power
because black and brown people are
being recognized for their talents.
I mean, we have a female vice president.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know what's happening? I'll define it very easily.
Okay.
We're becoming a meritocracy.
Which is what?
True meritocracy, and it's scaring the shit out of the white people.
And what does that mean?
It means you are evaluated and you are compensated, not just money, but in general in life, you are compensated by the value you provide to the society. In other words, the harder you work, the more you make. There's no more, the privilege is going away that white folks have had.
Okay, so this narrows it down to privilege. That's what you're talking about now. Okay.
Privilege is not having to work as hard for the same results as another person.
Okay, so
because of the color of your skin.
You're talking about white people, you and me, both white.
Yeah.
We have this privilege of being white.
Yes, we do.
Okay. If we were white and we had facial tattoos, would we still have the same privilege? We would have white privilege, but it'd be diminished to white.
But maybe it would be
tattooed privilege, right?
Perhaps.
Okay.
Perhaps.
So my point is, by having this privilege is going away because we are white. Because now you get paid on the hard work or the education, regardless of color, regardless of whiteness.
Right.
Correct?
Well, let's take away from race just for a second, because I think this will help us understand it a little bit better.
Sure.
Let's take wealth. Wealth is a privilege too, being born into wealth.
Okay.
Yeah. When you're born into wealth, you have access to things that poor people don't have access to.
Education?
Correct. So you don't have to win on your merits. You can win because you were born into a wealthy family. Does that make sense?
I got it.
Where poor people, they have to work their way up. 100%.
Okay.
Not saying you don't work at all. It just says poor people have to work harder. Now what's happening is we're seeing a leveling of that, not just in wealth though, but in race. So it's no longer, I think white people are afraid that, holy shit, if I actually have to compete based on my merit, I've been cruising for so long, I don't know if I could do it, and I'm scared.
Josh, I'm white, and I've never felt that. I've never felt that way. I mean, my mentality, I grew up poor.
Yeah.
And I grew up in a large family, and we worked hard. And if you work hard, you get to where you want to go. And I'm at a point now, I don't feel like I've had that privilege. I'm unaware of it.
Right.
I'm.
Privilege doesn't feel like anything. That's the thing.
Oh wow.
In fact, the biggest part of white privilege, for example, is not knowing you have it and not even not acknowledging it.
Yeah. I didn't know.
Because it doesn't feel like anything. So here's the difference. Privilege doesn't mean you get extra icing on top. You don't get extra cream on top of your cake.
Yeah.
It all right. It's not something like, oh, this feels so good. It's that other people get less cake.
Oh,
see the difference?
Nice analogy.
Other people are missing a few layers of the cake.
Even though I'm
That's all.
oblivious to it.
Correct.
Basically, I'm oblivious to
Yeah.
it. That doesn't. I'm not. I am not negating. That's double negative. I'm not negating
That's fine.
that I have privilege. I do think that I've had privilege by being white and being male and being possibly
Middle class,
heterosexual, these things.
All those things. Yeah.
I think, yeah, I'm not aware of it yet. I kind of, well, I'm aware of it. I'm aware that I only am aware after the fact. When I was in my 20s and 30s, I had no idea.
No, I didn't either.
I was like, well, I'm just
I
doing
thought
what
everyone
I'm
was
doing.
just like this.
Yeah.
Oh, you want to get a job? Just go apply for it.
Yeah.
But not knowing that people with black sounding names have a 50% less chance of getting a callback off a resume.
Okay. So
that's the kind of stuff where we don't feel it. Other people feel it.
Okay. So let's go back to where we are with vigilantism. So you think, I mean, we're getting to the why, right? The why is because Black, brown people are educated and they're
standing up.
They're standing up. They're getting the chances.
White people are standing up too for Black people. And these are things that are happening in the last 50 years that have rarely happened in the past.
And that puts not a burden, I don't know if it's a burden, but it threatens the status quo. And by threatening the status quo.
Which is white supremacy. That's status quo in our country. The country's been built on.
That's a tough one to swallow.
We've been built on racism.
Okay. I mean,
literally
slavery,
200 years straight in a row.
I get that argument. I understand that argument.
Yeah.
When you go white supremacist, that's pretty far out there. I mean, that's like so you think that possibly in the last 5 years, this fire of the white supremacy, you think it was always there?
Of course. It's the fabric of our nation. We were literally found. I know what the document says. All men are created equal. And at the same time, for the first 100 years of our existence, you can legally own another person solely based on the color of their skin. As property. So let's be honest. We said one thing as an ideal. We operated and we built the country on racism.
Okay, I understand that. I guess the point I'm trying to make is I have a rough time to feel like, so this is threatening the vigilantism is happening because it's threatening white supremacy. It's threatening people who are white and think that they are better than Black, brown, any multicolored people. Which, I mean, I grew up not in a racist.
Right.
I was unaware of it. I mean, I was unaware of my privilege.
Exactly.
I was unaware of the racism too.
Exactly. And it's not threatening all white people. I'm not suggesting that. But the ones that are fighting now, the vigilantes, these are the ones that tend to, they were brought up in more biased homes, let's say, that do believe that white people should have advantage, or they're afraid that it's an insecurity. Yeah. They're really insecure about what happens when Black people do have equal opportunity. It's not going to be as easy for me to get that job, and my family's at risk. And what if the Black people start coming into my suburbs? And the same tropes that we've been hearing for 240 something years. Right.
I don't know. It's hard for me to fathom. Because I didn't grow up in that.
Yeah. But we're seeing it in action. It's going to be interesting.
You mean the
vigilantism?
You gotta stop it. You gotta stand up. I mean, I think our leaders need to stand up and go, no, this is not right. Going back to the court cases and the jury, due process happened, and by due process is happening, these juries saw two different things, and as a civilization, as a community, we have to accept that. And
That's
whatever
our process. Yeah.
whatever the recourse is, the civil up in Wisconsin, the civil
Lawsuits and all
lawsuits, yeah, or whatever the
Yeah.
appeals in Georgia. This is the best system that we've come up with, so we have to go with it.
Absolutely.
In an election and someone wins and someone loses, you have to accept that
Right.
we went out and we voted, and more people voted one way than the other. And I mean, I've been through elections where I've been like, no, and then I've had to live with it because this is our civilization. This is our democracy.
Exactly.
Where are we? Where are we with time? Oh my God.
Are we?
Yeah, we're done. I'm Banks.
I'm Josh.
I'm Josh.
No, you're
Odd places on the
edge of
edge of a cliff.
Cliff again. All right,
Cliff.
we'll go with Cliff.
We can be
Cliff number 2.
we can be edge of anything, right?